talk. He is ladies' man Barney Stinson on the hit CBS comedy How I Met Your Mother. Now, his most important role is dad to 6-week-old twins Gideon, Scott, and Harper Grace. Everyone, please welcome Neil Patrick Harris. Welcome.
Thank you.
A little
Hi,
pat on the
everybody.
ass.
So, we saw you sneak that in.
Wouldn't be the first time, Leah.
So tell us the truth. Are you getting any sleep?
Well, sometimes.
Like, longest stretch of sleep you get in a night?
Yeah, like, 5.5 hours, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
Well, we have them on sort of staggered feeding, so we take turns, and we have some help for some of the week, so it's a lot. You know, the strangest thing with the babies to me is just you can't define it as one thing, because just when everything's okay, then one has a fever, and then, well, you know, just when everything's madness and they're screaming, then they calm down.
Yeah.
So you're never on a proper footing to know like what's happening.
Do they sleep in the same room?
They sleep in the same crib right now.
So cute.
That's sweet.
Now, I know before they were born, Allie and I came over and you had like 1,000 questions for me about having babies, and I'm curious if you took a single piece of my advice.
What
Well,
advice?
you're a crazy granola person. You have like the weirdest advice ever.
Like what? What did she tell you?
Not to vaccinate for ages and only, you know, feed them certain weird foods. And
Vegan stuff.
you're a crazy vegan.
Yeah,
So
I'm
no,
crazy.
right? The answer is no, Neil. You didn't actually take any of her advice.
Honestly, it's all been a bit of a blur with the asking advice
That's
and
no,
giving advice.
But the answer's
stuff.
no, right, Neil?
I will say that we
Neil,
started
the answer's
very...
no?
Yeah, the answer's no.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. I will ask the hard-hitting questions here, Neil Patrick Harris.
I will say, you know, we started off thinking, David and I thought it would be good to not swaddle them and to not pacify them and to have them, you know, like figure stuff out on their own. And at this point, we were like, whatever it takes.
Exactly.
A shot of
And
whiskey,
whatever.
whatever you need, just stop fussing.
Right.
Were you in the delivery room?
Yeah, definitely. We were both in the delivery room. It was a C-section, so we were able to be on the one side with the surrogate. And it's so weird. It's just, it's a remarkable moment, and yet you're so conscious of everything going okay that it was hard to sort of live in the moment of it all, because you're looking at this new little thing, but then there's also people that are dealing with it and cleaning it and cutting, and all these things are happening. So it's
like a moment in E.T., right? They come in with like their gloves and their masks and they're
a
like,
little bit.
Well, and it's so weird when you're driving home, right? And all of a sudden there's many more of you. I remember that being so strange.
Yeah, that was, once we got home, it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But David, you know, one of his ex-boyfriends, when he met Lane, had started the surrogacy process with twins of his own. So David helped raise 2 kids for twins as well, actually, for about 2.5 years. He's not their father, but he was just sort of helped raise them. And we still see them all the time. And so he has some good history and some knowledge about diapers and
But
formula.
it is amazing. You start off with every good intention. I'm going to let them cry themselves to sleep. And I think that's the biggest misconception. You know, when people say, just let them cry, leave them.
I hate
just
that
could
advice.
never do it. I
could see that happening when they're a little bit older,
But
you know,
not
but they're
now.
right now, you know, they're not even 6 weeks yet.
No.
And so it's a little, you know, everyone said when you see them, you're going to look into them and into their eyes, and you'll never feel love burst forth like you feel when you say, I'm like, not so much. Not so much, because I'm just like a caregiver, and that's super cool.
yes.
But you know, they don't even, when they look at you, they're just still so young that they're not even...
Right.
Well, that's what always makes
They
me
smile,
laugh.
they look at me and they smile, and I think, oh, we got a connection. with anything.
Right,
It's
that's
just-
what always amazes me when people like go, oh, we're taking our babies to France. I'm like, you don't need, you could wiggle keys in front of your newborn and go, we went to France. I mean, I don't understand, right? It's like, you look back on this time and you're like, oh, who were we? What was this?
It's a
the
blur. I'm
sweetest
just
moment
really-
is when they're like this, right, Neil? When you're like, oh,
yeah.
precious. And then they
Skin
wake
to
up.
skin is adorable when
Yeah.
they're just when you get to lay like this and.
I want to know like the difference between the two. Have you noticed any personality differences?
Yeah, well, Gideon, our son, is he's a great burper. Which, let me tell you, those that don't have babies, if they can burp, it's the greatest thing. I've never been happier. I'm like, he's sleeps all the time. Harper's been a lot fussier. She's had some sort of lower GI, like she's always kind of working through something.
She's a woman. Happens.
Yeah, she's a girl. Get used to
Yeah,
this, Neil.
exactly.
Get used to
It
this.
gets worse.
It feels It feels awful, though. I mean, all you want as a parent is to make sure that they're okay and that they're comfortable and that they're calm. So we've switched from one formula to a hypoallergenic formula, and we're
there's
seeing if
still
that helps.
rumblings
Oh, it's
going
great. We went
on.
to an osteopath.
Oh.
Fantastic. This person laid, she was very fussy, held her head and like her back real gently, tiny little movements. I didn't even know what was going on, eyes closed, kind of this. And she sort of snapped and is kind of a different person, super calm.
No.
Everything's like much better. Yeah, so I'm a
Wow.
huge fan of that. But yeah, like you said, swaddling, we thought, oh, that's ridiculous
Yeah.
with the holding them down and swaddling them. They need to be free.
And now?
Cut to me like... Time!
We're going to have more with Neil Patrick Harris when we come right back.